first and foremost, always, I just want to say thank you to JJ and everybody on the call. You guys are awesome, enthusiastic, and just full of passion. I just love it. So that's when I knew I was in the right group for sure. So the JJ, I picked this photo on Facebook of you in your Harley, and I don't know if you and I have had this motorcycle conversation yet, but that's a big part of my passion is two-wheeled motorsports. And I used to go bonkers over racing motorcycles all across the country, and that was my before life, back in the day. But anyway, so I always have a lot to talk about with motorcyclists. But man, this group. So we threw this little post out there, and man, you guys all like weighed in significantly. That was really cool. And so I, just thank you to everybody that put the vote down and hit that button. And it's just great feedback to know, like, hey, how can I add value? Where's anything that I can do to bring something to the group and I have a great insight now. So thank you to everybody. And this is largely what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about direct to seller marketing systems. So I'm going to show you guys everything that I'm currently doing all across the country, and not only in my market here in San Diego, but from coast to coast, from up in Seattle, down California coastline to all the way over in the East Coast as well. So we're going to get right into it. And a little bit about myself here, just so you guys have a little bit of confidence in, like who I am and what am I talking about here. And what this is man, I've been in real estate my whole life, and I really specialized in the realm of real estate in direct to seller marketing and acquisitions. And I love acquisitions, so getting the contract, right? So that's the act of buying real estate is my forte. That's what I really love to do. And but I say I've been in real estate my whole life, and I'm trying to make this really quick. My father is a real estate appraiser, and he's just starting his retirement as of just the last month. He's just started. He's now this is my dad's version of retirement. He cut off all of his high maintenance accounts, and he's only now doing VA review appraisals. And so those don't have very tight timelines. And so now he's retired. So he's kind of riding off, and he's in his 70s now. And but I got started in real estate right out of high school, working with my father, and got my real estate appraisal license and appraised full time from the minute I got out of high school all the way through 2006 is when I stopped appraising full time. And if you guys remember, that was a big change in real estate in around 2006. And as an appraiser, we had a front row seat for that. And during that time, I tripped and fell in love with the buy, fix, and sell business model. And so I just got after it. And this is kind of a little timeline of this is right when I met Than Merrill and the guys back in 2006. If you can see this photo way back when, yes, that's JD and his Jerry curls there, and all the guys. This was right when the Fortune Builders was kind of getting off the ground, and I happened to be, I met Than at a local RIA event. I didn't even know what Flip This House was, but he was speaking about wholesaling and things, and I was in that transition in my life, and man, he just kind of spoke right to me that day, and my wife and I, we were the first ones to the back of the room. We purchased his boot camp, and so we were going from Seattle to Connecticut to where they were, where their office was, to their first rehabbing boot camp, and the first bus and all that stuff. We were there, and I just kept involved. I just loved the community of mastery. I love the concept of mastery. Just everybody just being very enthusiastic about helping each other and doing real estate for the greater good, and just really felt purpose driven here in Mastery and Fortune Builders, and that's really what I connected with. And so I just kept really involved, not only as a student, but then later a case study, and then a coach. And I really believe in following the path of, you know, when you see somebody that has something that you want, or that is doing something that you want to achieve, you know, follow their footsteps, and because success leaves clues. And Tony Robbins is a huge influence in my life, and you know, so I'm dedicated to that. And so I just poured into mastery more and more, and ended up, they recruited me down from Seattle down to San Diego, where I live now, and I ran a lot of the inner circle curriculum development at Fortune Builders, but also I worked at CT Homes, where I ran all of their marketing and acquisitions at CT Homes. So I've had an opportunity to teach a lot of the Mastery community way back when, and I've even heard rumors that my trainings are still on the Mastery site to this day. So you might see me from years ago. But this was a team at CT Homes that I was a part of for about 5 years. There's JD in the center there. So my job was the marketing and acquisitions, and I loved that role. And I loved really the position that I was in at CT Homes and Fortune Builders, which was really unique, and just something that I was really blessed to have, was that as a marketing and acquisition, I was in the field, and I was doing all of the marketing experiments, and I was just cranking out direct to, testing different lists, testing different letters and strategies, door knocking campaigns, building out all of these different things, really working with CT Homes and Realty National, and really tying how an investment company and a retail broker really work together. That was a big part of my job there, was really developing and frontlining that stuff. And I really enjoyed it. And I had the opportunity to use somebody else's marketing dollar, right, for my experiments. And so, man, I took advantage of that, and I ran a lot of different experiments and learned a lot. And we had a tremendous success. We were crushing, between 80 and 100 transactions a year, and like clockwork, so we really turned that into an engine, and was really prideful of that. So, but coaching has always been a huge part of my journey. And I believe that, coaches have been the most influential people in my life, as an athlete and as an entrepreneur. I really look up and pour into my coaches. And I've got to say that I've had a coach just about my whole professional career. Why? Because the people that I looked up to, what did they have? Coaches, right? And when I met Than and Paul and JD, they all had coaches, and his coach, his name is Rich Fetke. And when I found that out, it was like a huge light bulb for me that, a coach's coach has coach, and a coach, it goes up the chain. And we all have something to learn and pass down and absorb and everything else. So I poured into it. And Mastery was my arena to do that. And since I've moved on from Fortune Builders and coaching, I've really continued my path of my interest in NLP, in mind development and mindset. And so I went through extensive NLP certifications for a long time, after Fortune Builders, just to really hone in negotiating and really just my own skill sets, as far as relationships, rapport building. Everything starts with your communication with your mind and how you do that. So I poured into it. My wife is really, really passionate about it as well. And so we do a lot of this together, and as a family and as parents, so it's a cool thing. So that's a little bit about my journey. Now here we're talking about marketing with a purpose and what we're doing in the field right now. So I get a lot of this questions of like, hey, what works? What systems are you using? What platform? Or how's this? And what are you doing to drive as many leads as we do every single week of the year? I'm just, for kind of context, I drive marketing leads, not only here in San Diego where I'm at, but I'm in 10 different markets across the country, and at times I've been up to 20 different markets across the country driving these types of leads for my clients. So I do this for myself, and I do it for other people as a done-for-you service. And so I have insight into a lot of different marketplaces, what's happening across the country. And so that's what we're going to be going over here, and exactly how we do it. So what is so important as you grow as a marketer, and you're really pouring into investing into your business with your marketing dollars, is that you have everything tracked. Everything has to come from metrics. It's a really, really important thing for testing and measuring, and to have clear direction of where to go with your marketing dollars. And marketing can be a hefty investment. And I say investment because that's exactly what it is. I expect a return on it. And the only way that I can really do that is by having really good tracking mechanisms in place to know where to continue to pour into my marketing. So we use a system called CallRail. It's for our phone tracking. Just to say it, I'm showing you guys behind the hood, pulling back the curtain. This is exactly the same resources that we use. This is the same, everything that we do, I'm showing you guys. And just to be very transparent about, there's some of these relationships that I have an affiliate relationship with. What that means is that I have a business-to-business relationship with some of these resources. And so if you're interested in getting more information about any of these, just raise your hand. And if you use anything that I have an affiliate relationship with, I have just a little bonus that I can give you, a little head start, a little extra something. So just raise your hand if you're interested in any of these. I can just speak in more detail about that. But so we use CallRail as our phone system, and we set up all of our tracking that way. So each campaign is tracked individually. We have everything recorded in our office. We know exactly how many minutes we're spending on the phone, all the different recordings, how many times people call, and everything else. After we get you have the platform of just your tracking set down, then it really becomes about data. For marketing, you got to know who your audience is to start your marketing. So that's just your list. Okay, in the most simplest term, like your list, that's who you're marketing to, right? So where do you get your list? How do you get your list? With what resource and how and what? There's a bazillion different answers out there, okay? And I'm not here to say, oh, my system or this place is the silver bullet, okay? That's not, I don't believe in the silver bullet answer. What I believe in is testing and measuring and testing again and measuring again. And I can share my experience with you guys, but that doesn't make your experience less valid or anything else. So I just want to be clear about that. And that everybody has their own style. This is just my take on it, okay? So, but data is so critically important. So the couple resources that I do use are PropStream and Property Radar, okay? Where on the West Coast, Property Radar is available. So that's Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona. If you're in those states, Property Radar, to me, is the best data center. That's where I and I have been for years and years. They have been long-standing the best data provider that I know of. And that's not new news. I've been singing that song for a long time, and they continue to get better. And my relationship with them has gotten better and better. I know the CEO of Property Radar very well now, and it's really cool, the development that they're doing. And in fact, the cool news is that Property Radar has only been on the West Coast for forever, because Sean O'Toole, the owner of the company, he's so particular about the accuracy of his data, and he was not willing to put any data on his platform that he couldn't just verify all the way through to the highest level. But over the last decade, he is now finally ready to roll out across the whole country. So Property Radar is about to be a resource that's going to be relevant to everybody in the country, which is really cool because it's been an inside kind of my hidden secret, but that's been my what I call an advantage. Is where and how I pull my list. Property Radar has been amazing. And one of the biggest things that I like about it is the way they allow you to really see your demographic. When you're pulling your list, you want to get to know who your list really is and who is your client. Okay, and Property Radar, they give you this really cool dashboard of when you pull your list of who are they, in what detail are they, what age range are they, and what, how many children. So you just get to know your clients better and better and better. The better you know your clients, the better your marketing message is. Okay, so again, we use PropStream here is an example, and we use a lot of different layering into our lists. Okay, so when we do our list, here's an example over on the side here. We go really far deep into the different layering of motivations. Okay, so not just an absentee owner list. Okay, it starts there, but then you want to put in different, more specific layers into that list so that your list gets more and more narrow, so that you know exactly who you're targeting. Okay, and that's the more you do that level of experiment, the more sharp you are at it. And so we put a lot of time and attention into exactly that. So getting to know that. Then once we pull that list, we do a skip trace. We pull skip trace. This is one of the resources that we use here, Best Skip Tracer. We use them to skip trace our list. And so we get a complete client profile. Once we get the complete client profile, that's when we really kick into the systematic cell phone marketing. Okay, this is, as a marketer, this has just been the most exciting transition in the marketing game, is the way we're able to deliver our marketing message to cell phones. Okay, what are we all addicted to? Our cell phones, right? What app within our phone are we addicted to most? Almost every single time when I ask this question, the answer to anybody is text messaging, right? Of the app that we use the most on the phone that we're all addicted to, it's like, and a text message, and we get zapped every single time, right? And we don't get zapped every time we get a letter in the mail, right? We don't get that same type of response, and that really shows in our marketing. So where do we want our marketing? To the cell phone, okay? And so we do a full-on cell phone marketing approach, and with a dynamic retargeting, because retargeting is now the name of the game in the data. Okay, so we do a dynamic retargeting with all of our data. Okay, and how that looks with our audience in our list, we pull up and we do a custom audience for Facebook. Okay, and so we don't just run broad audience stuff. We run very specific to our targeted list. So that same list that we're doing all of our other marketing to is going to get exactly the marketing message that we want. And the way that what we use in Facebook is a messaging bot sequence. It's a bot ad, and this has been performing really, really well. It's a really cool system where the ad actually interacts with you. Okay, and so you can put out an ad like this, and you can, when you hit learn more, it says get started, and it has this kind of choose your own adventure type of sequence that filters out people that are serious about selling or not. Okay, so this is, again, just another layer of kind of brand awareness where your ad is getting seen from multiple different angles now. The next thing we do is we load our list up into a texting engine. Okay, texting is far and away the most productive means of marketing right now. In every test and measuring results that I've seen, the texting game right now is just unbelievable. And not only from a response rate, deliverability rate, cost per lead, cost per contact, cost per transaction, cost per anything, texting is just far and away the best one. And so we use a resource called Launch Control. And the reason why we use Launch Control is because they have the best built-in mechanism for compliance. So in the texting game, in order to really be effective in the texting game, there's a wide range of high quality level in the game of texting. There's texting that's done in a non-compliant way, which is most of the bulk texting and that style is non-compliant. Most of it is. And that stuff has really struggles with spam and deliverabilities and this type of thing. Launch Control is a platform that it has all these different safeguards, and it's detailed. It's really detailed as to the different safeguards that they put in that keep us compliant. And the more compliant you are, the higher your deliverability rate is. So in our office, we measure up against a 98% deliverability rate. So that's a really, really high deliverability rate for any marketing message. And the minute it starts dipping down, we're on top of it to get it right back up to a high 90, upper 90s deliverability. And we're tracking the rest of all of the different metrics, just like a dashboard, right? And turning up and down the texting volume at different hours to watch for the response rates and where they go and how they go. So it's really, really intriguing with text message marketing. And from our vantage point, I come from years and years of doing direct mail marketing as a contrast. And direct mail marketing, it requires such a substantial budget. It's one of those things where you put it in the mail and then you wait and you hope and you wait and you hope and you wait some more and you hope that they got it. And then you hope that they call and the Reddit and everything else. And it's hard to collect those metrics because then people will call and they call so sporadically or whatever else. With text message marketing, it's like instant response. You get 90% of your responses from your texting campaign effort within the first hour of sending a text message. So you know immediately whether it worked, didn't work, this type of response or that type of response. So you can really hone in and tweak what is working and what's not working. Such a big contrast to the old days of direct mail marketing that I spent so many years and years doing and perfecting and trying again. So the thing that I concentrate on and what I encourage everybody to concentrate on is really understand your cost per contact. How much are you spending to send your marketing message? Okay. This really comes down to knowing your metrics. And the better you know your metrics, how much you're spending your cost per contact, how many times are you sending a message out to that person before you get response rates, okay, before you get a response from that person, and then the conversions on down the road. Now, the more you pay attention to this stuff, the more you can really hone in and have a massive effect on your cost per transaction, cost per lead, okay, cost per transaction ultimately. How much is it costing you to get a contract? Now, in the old days, before I switched my method to what I'm working with now, we used to lead with mailers. We used to send mailers, and that was about, on a cheap side, 57 cents to send a postcard. And I was sending a lot of $1, dollar type letters that were handwritten, first class. I did a lot of that type of marketing. And so I was leading with $1 style of marketing. And now you can see on this little slide here that mailers is now at the bottom of the list here. And the reason why is because it's the most expensive touch point. Okay, what's on the top of the list, at the top of the funnel, is the text message marketing. It's because it's the lowest cost per touch. As we approach our campaigns, we start now with the lowest cost per touch, flush it out, and so we're getting way more responses right out of the gate, which tells us who's interested, who's not, before we're spending more money with our marketing dollars. Just by switching to this strategy, all of our metrics were reduced drastically across the board. So really, really important adjustments to be aware of in your marketing game. The other thing to understand is that, and science has told us this, that it takes roughly up to 7 times of a marketing message to be seen before somebody will pick up and take action. So how many times are you getting your marketing message out to somebody? Well, if you're sending letters or postcards, it can be pretty darn expensive, right? That's $7 if you're doing $1 per letter out to get to somebody. And again, another reason why texting has been so effective is because our touch points are so low that we're able to get those higher, the more amount of conversions because we're sending out more touch points to our clients. Okay, all plays into our favor right here. So this has been a big part of our game. Now, the other part of the texting game that we play is having a really good conversation back and forth, you know, and being, and not just, it's not just a cold sale, but trying to, we have we call ISA, Inside Sales Associate, a team of trained sales professionals that work through client conversations, right? That go through and vet and massage these conversations and really determine whether these leads are, hey, get off my list, or stop texting me, or, hey, no, I'm actually interested in selling and moving forward, let's talk, or whatever else. And so providing that filter, because it can get noisy. You know, if you're doing, that's one thing that we learned, is that as you're sending out this volume of text messages, that it can get you're in this level of responses, it can get very, I call noisy, just a lot of responses, right? And so having somebody in place or being prepared for that level of conversations you're about to start is a big part of the game. Because in the world of texting, we expect almost instantaneous responses. So if you're send out text messages and allow a lot of delay in time before you talk to them, it can really hurt your ultimate conversion ratios all the way through. So we try to keep on our conversations as quickly as we can. Now, the next step that we go through is, once we qualify a lead, is that we have it, boom, systematically pushed right into our CRM. So the CRM that I've fallen in love with, it's called Flip Pilot, and it's relatively new. It doesn't have a huge, long-standing history in the real estate space. The owner and the creator of it has been in the real estate space for a long time, and he created this software. And the minute I saw it was the minute I knew, like, this was something that I was going to be really interested in, is because it looks almost identical to the same process that we were using at CT Homes to do a high volume of transactions, with a dashboard like this. And knowing your pipeline and having a visual representation of your pipeline, how many new clients, new leads, how many clients are you contacting, how many appointments you have, how many are you negotiating with. Understanding your pipeline like this is such a huge advantage to managing this type of a volume. And so we did this at CT Homes at a really high level, and this CRM, Flip Pilot, it mirrors almost exactly what we were doing. And they've integrated a lot of really cool features that help manage the leads at a really high level. One of the things that's super effective and necessary is an auto drip follow-up, is your ability to continue to follow up with clients once they come into your database, is that you want to be having conversations with them. You want to be not just falling off the face over here. So this Flip Pilot CRM has an auto follow-up sequence that you can just put on for texting and emailing. So you can just put somebody into an auto follow-up, and that's super effective for just keeping people warm and everything else. So really cool thing that we like in our thing. My take on CRMs in general, no, there's no perfect CRM. I'm convinced of that. I've had so many years of this conversation along. The best CRM is the one that you're using. So make sure you're using it, I think, is the biggest thing. Most people don't use their CRM to, the level of what it should be used. And so they struggle with it. So, before you kind of wonder, like, what's the best CRM? I would say, man, make sure that you're using what you got, because I've seen some really high level business done on very simple CRMs. So just keep that in mind. And my personal take is, I really value simplicity in CRMs. And so the more simple a CRM is, the easier it is to use. The more you use it, the better it is. And so it's a cycle like that. And so I've been involved in CRM that in the projects that have all of the features, but man, they're really hard to utilize. And so just that's my take on that in general. And that's what I like about Flip Pilot. I think that they really hit the nail on the head with the simplicity and automation. You know, they really tied that together really well. So now the next thing, you know, once you get a lead into your office, this is something that I found over the years, is that a lot of people are really, you know, they need leads, they need good marketing, they need to get things going. So they get marketing and leads to come into the door, but then they struggle with the next step, which is the most important thing. And that's how to do a seller appointment. What do you do with the lead? How do you turn that lead into dollars? That's the problem for a lot of people. And that's a big struggling spot from how many leads are you going through before you get a contract? Are you going through, does it take you 10 leads to get a contract? Does it take you 5 leads to get a contract? Or does it take you 25 leads to get a contract? Okay, that has the biggest impact on your profitability of your company. The better you can convert leads, the more profitable your company is going to be, and the better chance of, you know, thriving and just being a real player in any marketplace is how you're converting things. And so that's something that I concentrate on heavy in my office, and leading acquisition teams for a number of years. And just the fact that it's a personal passion of mine. I absolutely love negotiating, but the living room table, coffee room table, coffee table close, you know, that's my forte. So what I've developed is, it's a series of templates. It's a system that I put together that is on an iPad, and it creates your contracts. It allows creates a net sheet. It allows a deal analyzer in there. It has the repair sheet. It has a cover sheet. It has your credibility packet. It has all of these elements all together in an iPad setting that allows for closing on the spot with no paper. And that right there has been the silver bullet to converting leads in our office. And that's a whole separate topic and our presentation. But if you guys are interested, I will tell you that I do have a presentation where I go through exactly how I take a lead through to the closing table using this system. And it's really like I personally, it's the best tool that I have in my arsenal to convert leads, period. And so I have a presentation where I go through all of the different steps of qualifying leads, set pre-appointments, what we do, how do we set up the files, everything, the technology that we use in order to do that very efficiently. So it's all syncing in the cloud, right? And so you're not double entering and all of that stuff. That's where it falls apart when you take paper out to the field, and then that paper gets translated over here. It cuts out a lot if you're paperless. So my office is completely paperless. All of our acquisitions are generally paperless, and that's how we do it. And in this system, it breaks down to this is all digital on the iPad, where you have your notes, your cover page about us, your testimonial subject to the subject property, the comps that we do, the contract. All of these different elements is what it takes to close at the highest level. And this is what we offer in the iPad system. So it's a really, really effective tool. So at the end of the day, what we create when we're creating a marketing engine, what we really want to do and understand is the level of effort that we put together with our marketing and investment into it, is that we want to create an engine that's going to be benefiting not just our business. And it's really important to understand the trickle effect of what a lead generation engine does. Okay. My opinion, people that know me have heard me say this. I think the person that controls the lead controls the game of real estate. So in what I mean specifically by that is that the rest of the real estate industry, we all make money starts with a lead, somebody that wants to do a transaction. Okay, that is where the money activity starts. So that's where title and escrow and your mortgage and all of the agents and everybody else involved, it all starts with the lead. Okay. So the person that's controlling the leads or in the inventory is the person that's going to control the game. The better you are at generating leads, the more agents, escrow, title, the more everybody wants your business, wants to be your best friend, wants everything. The person that has the most leads, it controls the rest of the game. Okay. If you set yourself up well, and what I always coach and teach and get people to do is to have other people that are benefiting from your marketing contribute to your marketing. So not all the marketing is coming off of your back necessarily, because other people in the game are benefiting. So I call that gas money, right? Let's put some gas money in the engine here. Keep this engine rolling, because we're all winning when this engine's rolling, okay? So that's a general concept that I really dive deep into with my clients to make sure that you have the engine and that you get not only your gas money, but get other people to contribute to that gas money so you get that engine going, and so that you're cranking out leads. And when you're cranking out leads like an engine, and you're spitting out leads all the time, and a good portion of these leads are going to be fixer leads. They're going to be like, hey, I want a cash offer now. Oh, yep, I need an offer. I want to sell. I don't want to work with an agent. There's that portion of the list, and you're going to get those. Then there's a larger portion of the list that it's going to be a retail-minded person. Yeah, I'm interested in selling, but at a retail value. Okay? Big portion of the responses are these people. Yeah, I'm interested in selling if you make me this offer. Okay? And most people, most investors, they're like, garbage lead, just wants retail, garbage lead, this marketing don't work, garbage lead, yep, another one, just wants retail, nobody has motivation. No motivation out here. Everybody wants retail. Everybody. Guess what? You need to learn how to convert these things. Period. To really thrive in this game, in this environment, you have to. Those are leads that need to be converted, ladies and gentlemen. Period. There's no excuses to any of this. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to convert them to a cash offer scenario. If that's not best for them, then that's not what's going to work for them. But if a full market value offer is what's best for them, then we need to know how to facilitate that, period. Whether it's you as a listing agent, or can you refer that lead over to a listing agent that can do exactly that, get them the top dollar for their property. Okay, the point is that if somebody's interested in selling, we need to be able to help them either sell it cash or sell it in the listing capacity. Okay. And once you get that engine down really, really well, now all of your leads are valuable. Now you can put more gas money into your engine and keep that engine rolling. And the more you have that rolling, it's the more security to your livelihood in real estate, period. This is like the game of real estate that I've learned over the last 20 years. Being a survivalist in this, as an entrepreneur, as a real estate, I've never had a corporate job. I've never had any like sort of security job. I've always been in real estate, commission for my family and everything. And the biggest lesson that I've learned is that you got to have lead flow. You have to have leads. The more leads that you have, the better your business is, period. And that whether you do retail, whether you do, investing, and hopefully you're learning how to do both, because that's where the real magic is. But anyways, that's my soapbox. I get on that soapbox often. Sorry about that. But it's really, really important, because a lot of people look only through one lens. And that goes for real estate agents as well. Real estate agents leave too much on the table if they don't understand the investing world. Okay. And investors leave too much on the table if they don't understand or play well with agents. Okay. And so the key to the game is playing well together and understanding and facilitating the best transaction for our clients. Okay. So that is essentially the end of my presentation. I don't know how long that went. Hopefully that wasn't too long, JJ.